I did want to share this with you. Tim Walz, who I believe has no political career left, and those of you who are listening to us in Minnesota should be ashamed that this man is your governor. By the way, the cabinet meeting and the press availability following it went for 2 hours and 2 minutes. That is a long time. We do a 3-hour daily show here, so he nearly gave us a run for our money and who could do the longest show. I will say, whatever your thoughts are on Trump, we have never had a president answer more questions, and I'm certain we've never had a cabinet answer more questions than what the Trump administration first 100 days have been like. That is, Trump is telling you exactly what he's going to do and why. Tim Walz, speaking at Harvard University, said that he was, I guess this was a panel this week at Harvard, said that he was on the ticket because he could code talk to white football fans and also guys who like to fix their truck so that they were more comfortable voting for Kamala Harris. Buck, this is crazy town. I know a lot of you out there listening to us right now are football fans. Some of you probably also pretty adept at working on trucks. Are there any of you listening right now that think that worked? I have said, and I'll continue to say it, Tim Walz is a lesbian's idea of a man that will appeal to men. And that perfectly personifies, I think, the modern day Democrat Party. Did Tim Walz make you guys, football fans and car aficionados out there, feel like you could vote for Kamala and the Democrats more? 800-282-2882, because that is what can you believe this is real? This is the argument he's making.
Well, I think it's true, but I also think that we saw that it's one thing for it not to work. I think it backfired because I think that there was something condescending to the very people that the Democrats were trying to, at the last minute, fool in this way. Oh yeah, we got people that wear Carhartt and go to Walmart and shoot guns at birds and things too. Like it didn't seem authentic because it wasn't authentic, because Tim Walz is a communist and the whole thing was absurd. And so I think that it was worse than it didn't work for them. I think it actually went against them using Walz for that group in that way.
I think that is 100% accurate. Here is Tim Walz saying it. This is starting to get a lot of play for the reason that I believe Buck said, which is this blew up in Democrats' face, and I think also reflects that they don't really have a strategy to talk to normal guys, which was a huge part of the 2024 failure. Here is Walz explaining who he was supposed to appeal to.
I was on the ticket, I would argue, because we did a lot of amazing progressive things in Minnesota that improved people's lives. But I also was on the ticket, quite honestly, because I could code talk to white guys watching football, fixing their truck, doing that I could put them at ease. I was the permission structure to say, look, you can do this and vote for this. And you look across those swing states, with the exception of Minnesota, we didn't get enough of those votes.
I mean, they didn't even do that well in Minnesota. I think the numbers reflected, I don't have them in front of me right now, but that basically 2024 Minnesota was not much different than 2020 Minnesota. Now, 2016 Minnesota was even closer. Trump came within, I think, 50,000 votes or so in 2016 of flipping Minnesota as well. And it was relatively close, meaning 5 points or so, if I remember correctly. But Walz didn't even really add much to the Minnesota support.
You remember when Elizabeth Warren, she of fake Native American heritage and tenured professor of law at Harvard University, was really making a go of it for the presidency, or we knew she was going to, and she did the whole, okay, I'm gonna get me a beer.
Yes.
And everybody was just like, you've never said I'm gonna get me a beer before in your life. In one sentence, Elizabeth Warren showed, she's like, oh yeah, I'm going to imbibe some brewed hops and maybe have, I don't know, a Budweiser.
I have said for some time, JBN should be the lesson for most politicians. Just simplify it. Give me an acronym. JBN stands for just be normal. The number of politicians that can't just be normal is off the charts.
So but I have to ask, I think some of these people are not normal. So this is why they come across as trying hard to be normal, because they're actually huge weirdos.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth to that. And there's probably something for why politics draws that more, because it's also very strange to need to have constant affirmation from random people that you don't know that they think you're a good choice to do a job for them. I mean, the whole idea of begging people to vote for you is, I think, just a strange way to make a living, personally. But it is interesting because what Walz is saying is actually, I think, why the Democrat Party is in the toilet right now. There's lots of talk about, oh, what's Trump's approval rating and everything. Trump's approval rating is probably nearly 20 points higher than the national approval rating of any Democrat in America right now. So if you say, okay, Trump's only got 40% approval, let's say it's a bad number, right? 40% of Americans approve of Trump right now. What Democrat has 25% approval? I don't mean in the Democrat Party. I mean nationwide. I don't think there's anybody even within single digits of Trump when it comes to approval. And so there's a lot of people who are upset about the trajectory of the nation right now. Things cost too much. There's a lot of upheaval. But the last time that a Democrat ran for president and won men, 1964. Let me repeat that. Most of the anti-Trump sentiment in America is from women. Men are overwhelmingly on board the Trump train. The last time the Democrat ticket won the majority of male voters in America was 1964. That is, for many people, a holy crap moment. So this idea that the Democrat Party has suddenly begun to struggle with men is false. What has actually happened is they've just hit all-time lows with men. They've been struggling for 60 years. But now they are losing so badly that even, Buck, when they are trying to address the issue, which is clearly paramount when it comes to them winning elections, they end up with a guy like Tim Walz, who actually, I think you're right, even though he's designed to bring in men who like to hunt and men who like football. Remember, they introduced him at the DNC not as Governor Walz, but as Coach Walz. He wasn't even the head coach, but they tried to turn him into some sort of Eric Taylor Friday Night Lights figure to appeal to men, and it landed flat.
I think they should have called him choreographer Walz, because those jazz hands and his fabulousness sometimes.
Spirit fingers, high leg kicks. I don't know. Did he try out? I know he needed a job soon because he's not going to be able to be governor forever. Could he be a Rockette? I think if you put him on the stage, he's got a good leg kick. And the Rockettes, I mean, that is not a light amount of work when you do those leg kicks one after the other. I think, to be fair to Tim Walz, I think he could leg kick like a lot of women can leg kick, and maybe that has appeal.
I'll tell you one thing I think is interesting. I've seen some of these stories out there, and I've seen the reemergence of some leftists from in media from the Obama era, and these efforts to say, well, is this the new masculine face of the Democrat Party? Is this the new, like, the badass bro? And all of these people they put forward, I'm like, no. And then you think to yourself, this is amazing. I mean, there are a lot of Democrats out there, a lot of Democrats in the media. This is the best they've got to just appeal to normal guys who like guy things. The people they're putting forward do not answer the mail, so to speak. It does not get it done.
No, and look, I mean, it wasn't just Tim Walz that she was considering. Remember, it was Shapiro, who I think you've rightly said has the unfortunate for Democrats these days religion, right? I don't think they can put a Jewish guy on the ticket, even if he's in the most important state, and that is a huge indictment of the party.
It would cost them Michigan. I think they know that. I mean, I think that's look what just happened in this last election. Democrats had problems in Michigan in the first place. But I think it would cost them Michigan to have a Democrat as the top of the ticket. No question about it.
And then you've got J.B. Pritzker, who we said has got the same issue that frankly, Chris Christie had, which is you're not going to elect. I don't think America is going to elect a 400-pound dude. I'm sorry. I mean, maybe if he was 260, instead of 400. Maybe people change their minds.
He's also, I can also say, because I'm sympathetic to this, and I've talked about how I've gotten back into like reasonable shape now, and I'm still going and trying to get better shape all the time. The guy's a billionaire. Like if you gain 30 or 40 pounds because you were working double shifts and you're trying to provide for your family, and you're eating on the fly,
down hamburgers and French fries because you're trying to save money and eat fast. Yep.
Totally sympathetic, no judgments. The society that we live in prioritizes more hours at the desk, less time out there. It's easier to get fast, crappy food, and it has, all that. So this dude's a billionaire. You're a billionaire in the era of, get a private chef, get on some GLP-1s. I mean, the guy is morbidly obese. Like, again, it's not about fat shaming. It's about you couldn't responsibly elect this guy to be president because his health is such obviously an issue. You couldn't think this guy could serve 8 years without there being huge problems.
And also, he's got the same problem that Gavin Newsom does, which is he's actually been an awful governor. Everybody is leaving Illinois. Everybody is leaving California. Chicago's a great place to live. The mayor's got a 6% approval rating because Democrats have done a really poor job of governing in places like Illinois and California. And so Andy Beshear, we got a huge audience in Kentucky. I'm sorry, that guy has the lowest masculinity reading on the planet. I think Kentucky should be embarrassed to have elected him twice. His daddy was the governor, is the reason he got elected. He did awful with COVID. He shut down churches. He didn't let kids go to school and play sports. Like, the fact that Kentucky elected this guy twice is, I think, an incredible embarrassment for the state.
But look at also some of the mandatory beliefs that if you're going to be a Democrat at the national level in good standing with the base and with the Democrat machine, you have to do what, say, that guy John Oliver did on HBO recently. He's like, is there really evidence that men are better at sports than women?
He did an
It's like,
entire
yes,
show
you
on
little
this.
moron.
Yes.
Yeah, of course. It's called all of human history. We're all but you have to say these things that no normal guy will say. No normal red-blooded American man is like, I'm a male feminist, and I think that, the trans agenda for kids is a good idea. Like, there's a bit of self-selection that's gone on here, right? It was different 20 years ago. This has been a shift in the culture, and a real one. And I know it's the topic of Clay's book, so it's a good time for somebody to lay down the law on this stuff. There's a new phone scam cyber hackers are using to get your online identity, and it's working far too well. You get a text message saying you owe unpaid road tolls, and if you don't pay quickly, I just got this text myself like last week. This has just happened.
They happen all the time. It's unbelievable how often these things pop in.
And also the quote misplaced Amazon package, unpaid tolls. We're going to suspend your registration if you don't pay this toll. Here's the link. The scammers are sophisticated. Okay, this isn't I'm a prince from some country that doesn't exist. Give me $10 million. That was the old scam. The new scams, sophisticated. You need to have Lifelock to watch your back for your online identity. Lifelock monitors millions of data points a second for risks to your online identity, and Lifelock will detect and alert you to potential identity threats you may not spot on your own, like loans taken out in your name or rogue credit card charges. This happened to me before, so this can happen to anybody. And if you do become a victim of identity theft, a dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Easy to help protect yourself with LifeLock. Join now and save 40% off your first year with my name, Buck, as your promo code. Call 1-800-LifeLock or go online to lifelock.com and use promo code BUCK for 40% off. Terms apply.